Hey everyone, Jason Case here with another video, and today I want to discuss why your link building strategy needs to be well thought out. So building links to your website is a huge part in how your website will rank in the search engines. So the more quality links that you have pointing to your website will definitely increase your chances, especially ranking for competitive terms. And this is why it should be a huge part in your overall SEO marketing strategy. Well, link building has changed quite a bit over the years, especially since Google's Penguin algorithm update, which really a lot of websites saw huge traffic drops when this algorithm update was released. And it penalized sites for having low quality, spammy links pointing to their site. So since then, they've released multiple different versions of this Penguin algorithm update. And now they're on version 4.0. Well, version 4.0 is not necessarily going to penalize your site for having low quality links pointing to it, but it devalues these links. So you might not see a huge traffic drop, you just won't see much of a traffic increase doing this. So you might ask, well, why is it really important to have a well thought out link building strategy if I don't have to worry about having low quality links, if it's not going to I'm not going to get penalized by this? Well, no matter what link building strategy that you're using, it still costs a lot of money or it takes a lot of time to do. So I was doing some competitive research over the last week, and I thought this would be a great topic for today's video because I was surprised by how many sites that I analyzed that were using unethical approaches of building links. So even though that this isn't necessarily going to penalize your site, you're not going to really see a huge benefit from doing this either. So I don't know if these companies understand what they're doing. They could just be paying a company that shows them, hey, we're building all these links to your site, or this is the best approach to do so. But they might not see a big, impact of it getting penalized, which they might not be aware of this. But at the same time, they're putting money into these resources and wasted time into it. So you should definitely have a good understanding of the approach that you're taking and making sure that it's a approach that aligns with Google's algorithm. So some of the situations that I saw over the last couple of weeks with this competitive research that you should avoid doing is creating like link wheels. So you have a whole cycle of sites that you're building links in between. So you have domain A, domain B, domain C, domain D, and so on. And you're putting content, you're building all these websites up, which takes a lot of resources to do. And then what you're doing is linking between all of these sites. So you can, quickly and easily add these links because you own these domains. Well, Google's algorithm is smart enough to understand this now. And this is not a best practice approach. So if this is something that you're doing or you're considering doing, I would think of other strategies to do so because this is not best practices. Another practice that used to be used in the past was like article directories. So article directories used to be a very easy way to just submit an article, but these were low authority sites. They really didn't have much value because all these articles were very low value. They weren't very informative pieces of content. So anybody that visited these sites didn't stay engaged on the site for long at all because it was just junk content. So this was a big part of what Google did away with. They penalized these sites. And if you had a lot of links pointing from these article directories, then you probably saw a huge traffic drop. Well, you should not be using this strategy anymore. Like I said, it's not necessarily going to get you penalized, but their algorithm's smart enough and they're just going to devalue these links. And even though if it's devaluing it and it's not getting you penalized, it's probably not going to help with your overall organic strategy in a good way. So because Google's algorithm is going to understand the tactics that you're using. So the ways you should be going about it, you should be going about ethical approaches. So building relationships with other related websites in your industry, and reaching out to these websites to share your content. So not necessarily your competition, but websites that post related content that aren't competitors might want to share your content to their audience. So just keep this in mind, and definitely if you're not sure about it, consult with someone who is experienced with SEO and link building and can give you some best practices to follow, because you definitely don't want to go down the wrong path in this and waste months or years and waste a ton of money going down the wrong path, because then you'll probably have to come through, clean a bunch of stuff up, and it's going to cost you money cleaning yourself up and getting yourself out of this mess and starting with a good practice moving forward. So either way, that's it for today's video. If you are concentrating on SEO and building organic traffic to your website, you should definitely be thinking about a link building strategy. And if you need help with this, feel free to reach out. This is what we do. We definitely specialize in SEO and building organic traffic to people's websites, and helping form a creative, organic way of building links to your website too that are ethical and high value. So take care, everyone, and we'll talk tomorrow.